What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Real GP Zerker Edition. In this episode, we are on episode number 4, and the fourth NPC voted into this series by the viewers was the Aberrant Spectres. So we are going to find out just how much you can make per hour and what other reasons might be good for camping this NPC. Before we get into the content of this video, I have a little announcement. We are back to streaming on YouTube. Finally, all the platform issues have been fixed, and it seems that I can hold a stream for longer than 4 or 5 minutes. So as of this week that this video is coming out, I am once again streaming on YouTube. The streaming schedule is on the screen now. It is unchanged from my Twitch schedule, but just moving back over to my preferred platform. Thank you to all of you that voted in the Twitch, Discord, and YouTube polls to help me figure out if I should come back to YouTube. 77% of the votes were for YouTube, so I am back. I will see you guys on the stream. Alright, so getting into the content of today's video. Gonna check out the Aberrant Spectres combat stats first. 90 hit points, level 90 defense, and level 105 magic, so probably not a good idea to use magic here. Most people do use melee with prayer gear, or high magic defense gear and also melee, or you can use ranged. As for the defensive stats, they do have plus 20 to stab, slash, and crush, so really you're just going to want to use the weapon with the best bonuses. With that 90 HP and 90 defense level, they do go down pretty quickly, but we'll check that out in a bit. Being a pretty weak monster, you have to assume that their drop table is not going to be that great, and you would be correct. The average Aberrant Spectre kill is only worth around 2,000 GP, just a little bit north of that. As for the weapons of armor, things that you're going to want to note: Mithril Kite Shield, Lava Battle Staff, Adamant Plate Legs, and the Rune Full Helm, all alchable items, so you will want to take some high-level alchemies with you. As for the Mystic Row Bottom, this is their Slayer drop, 1 in 512. Now the alchemy price is actually very similar to the sell price, so you might as well just alch those two. I, however, did keep them to see how many I could get throughout this video and see how close to the drop rate that I was. The Spectres also do drop a lot of grimy herbs, Guam all the way through Dwarfweed with the exception of Toadflax and Snapdragon. So definitely going to want to make sure you have an herb sack if you are going to be camping the Aberrant Spectres. Even if you're not camping them and on a Slayer task, it's still really nice to have just so you can pick up those extra drops, because their herbs honestly make up the bulk of their drops. They do also drop seeds, and the ones that you're going to want to focus on for the most part are Snapdragon and Torstal. Those are the most expensive ones, and you will see those every now and then. Coins and an other, they do drop nothing 1 in 7 times, so a little bit of a bummer there, but regardless, like I said earlier, average kill is worth around 2,005 GP. So now that we have seen the combat stats and the drops of the Aberrant Spectres, how do we want to fight them? Well, in my inventory here, the first thing you'll see is a Slayer helmet. It does feature the nose peg, which you will need to protect yourself from the terrible stench of the Aberrant Spectres. Otherwise, they will do a lot of damage and reduce your stats very quickly. As for everything else, Fire Cape, Salve Amulet, and I'll get to that in just a second. Bandos Blessing, but any blessing will work. My weapon of choice is the Dragon Scimitar, and the offhand is a Rune Defender. Proselyte Plate Body and Plate Legs, Barrow's Gloves, Rune Boots, and a Berserker's Ring imbued. As for the Salve Amulet, you will want this to be either the Salve Amulet EI or the Salve Amulet E, which is just enchanted. When it is enchanted, it will give you a boost of plus 20% to undead creatures, and this will be attack and strength if it is enchanted. If it is imbued, you will also get that boost to magic and range. So you will want to use this over the Slayer helmet because of that additional plus 5% boost to other NPCs. Now don't worry about wearing these together, because regardless of whether you wear them together or not, the game is always going to choose what gives you the greater bonus. So in this case, it will be the Salve Amulet Enchanted. Over in the inventory, I have 2 Super Combat Potions and 14 Prayer Potions. The combination of these items will allow you to stay for about 2 hours with this particular gear setup. I also have my herb sack. I want to pick up all those grimy herbs that I possibly can. I have a Lunar Staff, or if you have a Draman Staff and not the Lunar Staff, that is fine. I use the Fairy Rings to get to the Slayer Tower to kill the Aberrant Spectres. Now, if you do have a Slayer Ring, which you can craft at 75 crafting, and the unlock from a Slayer Master, obviously use that. It will get you there a little bit faster. This account just does not have that. House Teleports to get myself out after the trip, and my Rune Pouch has Nature and Fire Runes in it, so I can alch whatever drops that I can get, just so I can keep my inventory clear. So with this particular gear setup and inventory set that you have just seen, I ended up managing to kill 3,154 Aberrant Spectres throughout the 20-hour period that I dedicate for these videos. That ended up averaging me 157.7 kills per hour, which honestly is quite a bit more than I was expecting. So I'm actually pretty happy with that number, but what does the loot look like? Honestly, not too good. First thing you will see, 788k on the cash stack from all of my picked up and alchemized items. Most notable thing is going to be the 265 Renar weeds for 1.85 million GP. As for the rest of the herbs, pretty standard. They're not worth that much, even with decent stacks. They're just not worth what Renars are, so pretty expected. Seeds that I picked up were snapegrass seeds, Toadflax, Aventos, Quorms, Catentine, Snapdragons, most important there. Got a decent amount of those, 28 of them, 1.37 mil stack. Lantidimes, Dwarf Weeds, and I ended up with 4 Torstal Seeds, 235k. As for the Black Mystic bottoms, I was a little bit over the drop rate. In 3,100 or so of them, you should see somewhere around 6. I ended up getting 7, so I was a little bit lucky there, and 1 tooth half key. As for the total price, 5,881,816 GP. So obviously that 5.88 million GP is my gross value, and we got to deduct the supply costs from that. I ended up using super combat potions, prayer potions, teleport to house tablets, and nature runes and fire runes. That comprised all of my supply costs. Supplies ended up costing me 1.76 million throughout the 20 hours. As for the net profit, it takes it down to 4.12 million GP, giving me a total profit per hour of only 206,000 GP. Pretty terrible. But I will say this, moving into the experience rates, my chosen weapon once again was the Dragon Scimitar, and throughout the 20 hours, I ended up getting 1,135,440 Strength XP, which ended up averaging out to 56,772 Strength XP per hour. Really not that bad for not being on a Slayer task and just using the Salve E. So as for my final thoughts on camping the Aberrant Spectres for money. Obviously, it is not a good moneymaker at just on the north side of 200,000 GP per hour. If you're camping here for money, it is a huge waste of your time. There are plenty of other things in the game that can make you a lot more money than that. But I will say this, for Iron Men account, I can see this being a pretty viable option to collect some herbs and train some combat at the same time. 56,000 combat XP per hour is really not bad. There's not a lot of places that you will see that unless you're strictly training for that. Like, let's say, for example, Nightmare Zone, you'll see over that, but that's really boring. At least at the Spectres, you can bring in some money and get some supplies for an Iron Man account while you are actively training your combat stats. Now, as for a Slayer task, absolutely do the Aberrant Spectres every single time you get them. 157 kills per hour. If you don't have the task extended, you can wipe this task out in an hour, maybe just a little bit more, depending on how many you're assigned. So overall, camping the Spectres, absolutely not. Don't come here for just money. But if you are looking for herbs, decent experience, and a quick Slayer task, absolutely spend some time at the Aberrant Spectres. Alright everybody, that is going to do it for the Real GP Zerker edition featuring the Aberrant Spectres. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and I hope that you might have learned something from this video. If you liked the video, please leave a thumbs up down below. They really do help the video's popularity. If you like seeing content like this, remember to hit the subscribe button on your way out and turn on the bell icon. It will let you know whenever I post on my community tab, whenever I upload a video, or whenever I go live on YouTube Gaming. With that, I will see everybody on the next video. Once again, thank you for watching. Take it easy, everybody.